Well, thank you very much. That was certainly very moving. I'm not in HUC now. This is not like HUC, as I said in my time. Could I ask you about the terminology feminist? You were saying earlier on in your talk that you have to search very hard to find women's voices within the tradition. And I always tell my students that if you look at the Jewish Encyclopedia or the Encyclopedia Judaica, if you go through it, you'll see that there are not many women. There are lots of men, but not many women. And arguably, Judaism is a religion created by men, for men. It has been in the past, dominated by the rabbis, dominated, no doubt, by the male writers of the Tanakh. Couldn't you be a post-Jewish feminist? I have a friend, Daphne Hampson, in England, who is a post-Christian feminist. She argues that Christianity is inherently patriarchal, and there is nothing that one can do to free the tradition from its patriarchal character. Presumably, you think that's not true, despite the fact that women's voices have, through the centuries, been stifled within Judaism. You want, I think, to be a post-nostalgia feminist. Why not a post-Jewish feminist? Are there really resources that in the tradition whereby you can create a Jewish feminism?
Look, being post-Christian is one thing. It's not, being post-Jewish is not the same thing. Being post-Jewish is more like being post-black. You can't be post-black. You can't be post-Jewish. Being Jewish is more than, a religion my parents taught me. This is my people. Every language in the world has limitations. There is no language, there is no civilization with a history that is not fraught with problems, including some very problematic patriarchal hierarchies. Why shouldn't I try to create culture in a Jewish idiom? You know, I live in Berkeley, California, the home of the Jew boos. You know the Jew boos?
Boo Jews, boo Jews.
Boo Jews, Jew boos, same thing. Tirza was talking about him yesterday. They're Jewish Buddhists that swell the ranks of the... I myself go to a meditation group once a week because I love the quiet. Jews don't know enough about being quiet. But look, there's no reason why we can't use the language of our people and of the languages of our people and our civilization to say what we mean today. And I'll be damned if I'll leave it to the sexists. And you know what? I got a lot of comrades in this struggle. I'm not alone. There's a lot of people in the audience today who call themselves Jewish feminists, men as well as women. Men you can't quite call yourselves feminists yet, but you can call yourselves fellow travelers or feminine, whatever. But you're there with us, and we know that. And basically, feminist Judaism is not Judaism for women, it's Judaism for all of us. It's non-hierarchical, non-sexist Judaism, and you, Dan, I think, need it as much as I do. We all need it. So I'm not leaving. You can't make me want to leave.
I respond? Or?
No, right.
No, okay, fine.
Joe?
Well, can I withdraw my question? No, I know, right?
I'm sorry. I actually consider that a friendly question, and I hope I didn't return unfriendly fire. I with great respect, I was.
I'm married to a feminist. I have a question, and it's not theoretical; it's practical. I'm wondering, given all the... first of all, let me just say I stand in awe of your creativity. I think it's just extraordinary.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering what notions you might have, or others may have, who are sympathetic to your work and support you, would have, what plans there might be, if any, to, in effect, deploy your liturgy, perhaps surreptitiously and subversively, into reform or even conservative synagogues.
Yes. Well, the good news is that after 3 years in print and hardback, the paperback Book of Blessings has just come out from Beacon Press last month, and the price is slashed in half. And the better news, even than that, is that congregations can order copies at even half of that if you order bulk copies. So now we have the potential to order bulk copies. Say if you're a congregation of, I don't know, say 200 families, and you want to just experiment with bringing this into the liturgy, you can order 50 copies, have it in the pews. You don't have to get rid of your other Siddur. I mean, who says we need only one Siddur? We have, all kinds of commentaries. Why not, and the Siddur is, we have different versions, lots of it. Have a second Siddur and begin to incorporate it. There are communities who are using the work now. Unfortunately, and I have to say here I want to get into a little bit about capitalism and economics. Unfortunately, a lot of places are ripping it off in the sense that they're Xeroxing it rather than buying it. And the problem is, in all seriousness, that I'm not going to be able to produce my next book because right now no publisher wants to publish it because people are using my book in great numbers and people aren't buying it in those great numbers. And it's very, very, very expensive to produce a book like this with all those little dots and dashes that Hebrew has. The typesetting costs on the Book of Blessing were $60,000. This is unheard of. So actually the book wasn't even that expensive for what it was, but I have to say that nobody wants to take it on anymore in today's capitalist market because people don't do things because they're good. They do things because they're going to sell. And so this is a bit of a plea to the community, if you're interested in bringing it into community use, to consider buying multiple copies. And there's been music written. Also, it works. It works with traditional nusach if you like to use, which can be very beautiful, minor keys and things like that. You can just chant it. Also, you can just read the stuff, with some kavanah, with some intention. You don't always need to sing along. I'm hoping that that the few congregations that are using it now will expand perhaps to more now that the book is available.
Marcia, I was wondering if you would mind reading some of your poetry.
What was it that the poet Ted Carmi used to say? As much as the calf needs the cow, the mother cow needs the calf to pull it out. Well, I don't know. Do we have time for me to do that? I didn't. That's very sweet of you. You know what? I'd like to read. I'm torn because part of me wanted to read you my Shema, which I also didn't have a chance to get to, and maybe I should do that. I knew you'd say that, guys. You'll have to ask me at another. Can you bring me back?
Can we borrow this? Yeah, he wants to.
Berman doesn't want to bring me back at all. Okay. There you go. All right, I'm going to read the Shema. This is my, I got a mic. I won't say anything about this because I'm so used to explaining how every line in this is actually based on some traditional text, and this is how I understand Judaism. And I know the Shema is our ultimate theological statement, but if we don't say what we mean here, okay, so. Shema Yisrael, LaElohut alfei panim, mlo olam shechinata, ribui paneha echad. I'll just read the English in its full because I don't have time to read the whole Hebrew, but if I did, you would see that it echoes the traditional Shema. Hear, O Israel, the divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. The many are one. Loving life and its mysterious source, with all our heart and all our spirit, all our senses and strength, we take upon ourselves and into ourselves these promises to care for the earth and those who live upon it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion. We will teach this to our children throughout the passage of the day as we dwell in our homes and as we go on our journeys from the time we rise until we fall asleep. And may our actions be faithful to our words, that our children's children may live to know truth and kindness have embraced, peace and justice have kissed and are one. You may recognize those closing lines. They're from Tehillim. They're my favorite pasuk in all Tanakh. Chesed ve'emet nifgashu. Thank you. This, I have to attribute the biblical psalmist. Chesed ve'emet nifgashu, tzedek v'shalom nashaku. Best pasuk in Tanakh.
Thank you, Jack. Manny? Marcia, in your zeal to speak about the fact that traditional Judaism was patriarchal, I think you've overstated the case. I think the men took the credit. The men. But the business of creation took place behind closed doors. And I'm sure that when the rabbi came home, the Rebbitzin said, "What happened?" And when he told her what he had said at the deliberations, she said, "What? That's what you said?" All I'm saying, I understand, and I am a feminist. I'm a male feminist. But don't overstate the case. I do not believe that women throughout the ages did not share in the creation of the Jewish tradition.
Manny, all due respect, but in the case of the liturgy, that's a Baba Maisa. And let me just say, no, I'm serious. Women did not participate in the creation of this liturgy. Women's words have not been preserved and enshrined. And did women have an influence on their husbands? I mean, we're still being told today that, we control the kitchen or something, and that therefore, but honestly, this is a patriarchal vision, and
I agree. But I didn't say the liturgy. I said Judaism. That's why I said you exaggerate.
Well, I said there's another strand, I think, because there is, of course, practice, but we've lost the record of a lot of this, and that's, in a sense, what Monique Wittig's famous words, remember, 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 and failing that, invent. That's what we have to do. We have to fill in the blanks because it wasn't preserved for us, the memory. So, yes, I'm sure that women influence the practice of life, but that's different from and one last thing, though, liturgy is not like other domains because, as I said, it is performance language. And therefore, when you control the liturgy, you really control the images that are out there in the minds of all of us and of our children. So it's really modeling the way you want the world to be. It is modeling very much a world in which men dominate women, and there's a sort of great chain of being on down to the bottom. So,
I just wanted to tell you, every Friday, a Jewish husband prizes his wife with Eshes Chayil.
I don't say that.
I said it. I said it. And what you have in Eshes Chayil, that she's working day and night
Terrible.
and doing everything, and he sits in the cafe house and prize her because she made him rich, etc., etc. This is one point. The second point is, again, when you take the story of the Bria, and Chava was the smart one, because when she took the fruit from the tree, She was looking at it. She saw how nice it is, how good it is. She just wanted to find out, and she had a discussion with the serpent if she can take it or not. When she came to Adam, he just took it and ate. But he didn't ask any question at all. But later on, when God asked him, did you eat from the fruit I've forbidden you to eat? His answer was, the woman you gave me, you have to blame her because she tempted me. Now, who got the punishment? She was the one to be punished more than he. So this is the story which the men are telling, and up to now, and she was right with every word she said. So I'm a feminist.
If Shulamit said so, then it must be true. I'm taking that. You got that on tape? Shulamit Aloni said I was right with every word I said. I'm taking that home.
All right. Thank you very much. Wonderful. And I want to remind you of something that Marcia said. Her books are out on the table in the foyer. And now we have 10 minutes, and the next presentation is about a very, very exciting and unusual option that is rarely discussed in the Jewish world. It's Joe Schumann. Okay, so please come back in 10 minutes.
Joe Schumann
is going to speak about a cosmopolitan.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.